Welcome to the third night of Lot, or the third oracle night, in the silent time before winter solstice. We're talking here about a tradition that is well more than 2000 years old. Our forefathers, specifically Germanic tribes, Nordic tribes, as well as Celts and the ancient Slavs, have been keen observers of nature, have been keen observers of the signs that the universe and that life would give them. Because undoubtedly, back in those days, life was much harder than nowadays, where we have a big civilization helping us out in every which way you can think of. However, why are these nights of Lot, or oracle nights, of interest for us in the present time? We live in a time where there is a lot of change. Particularly, the year 2025 will be the biggest change, the biggest renewal we have seen for centuries. What has happened since 2020 was just the beginning. And even in 2020, I was asked by people, Aditya, how long do you think this is going on? Remember, back in those days, people were saying, oh, let's go back to the old normal. And then the system came up with speaking about the new normal. Well, it's neither the old normal nor the new normal. It's something totally new that we are going to enter. And enter we must. There is no holding back. And enter we will. In the year 2025, the first 2 months that are critical are January, second half of January and February. Then we have very strong months of June happening, and then August. August will be like a golden triangle, a magic triangle, where Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto unite in a very powerful and harmonious way. Then what happens in autumn 2025 will be the fallout, basically. The fallout of the old stuff, the remainders of the old time of pre-2025, pre-2024, that is not suitable anymore for the new time. So there is a lot of reasons why we take the Nights of Lot, or Oracle Nights, this particular year much more serious than in other years, because we can get signs. Our forefathers got signs and portents all the way back 2,500 years ago. And it's been a nearly forgotten tradition, but I did research, some other people did some research, and we uncovered these secrets for you. And here we have the 6 nights of Lot. 2 of them have already passed. The first was on 24th to 25th of November. That's the first night of Lot. It's connected with Saint Catherine in the Christian world view. And it's reflection, going inside, finding your inner silence, but also finding your inner strength. That's the meaning of 24th to 25th of November, the first oracle night, or night of Lot. The second was on 29th to 30th of November, the night of Saint Andrew, the first disciple of Jesus. He was a man full of love and connection and oneness, and that's also the quality of the second holy night. Right now we are going from the 3rd to the 4th of December, depending where you are in the world. If you are in Southeast Asia, you're already in the early morning hours. If you are in Europe, you are in the evening. If you are in the Americas, you are in the afternoon. This is why I choose this time to give you the live stream. And this particular night is about hope and protection. Hope and protection. And I tell you the general ritual that has been used for the Nights of Lot for thousands of years, and it's a little bit spooky. It takes some nerves, it takes some courage. And then I speak about the specifics of this third holy, or third night of Lot, of Saint Barbara, the night of hope and protection. So what is the general practice. The general practice has been, and it's not for weak nerves, the general practice has been to go after the sun has set to a forest, to a T crossing in the forest, and to stay there at the T crossing for half an hour and just listen. Just stay there on the T crossing and listen. This is wild, I know, but on the other hand, if you go into the forests nowadays, usually there's no people, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere and it's rather cold now, there will be no one. And you should do this between sunset and midnight. Sunset and no later than midnight. And you can do it on all the 6 nights of Lot, or on either of them, or even on 2 or 3 of them, depending on your availability of time. So probably you have to drive there with the car. Not everyone lives close by a forest. And you also should know where is a T crossing in that particular forest. And you're going there and you're really contemplative. You are really focused. And it's really about you want to know what comes. You wish to know what comes. And you're totally open. And the T crossing represents the flow of time. You're basically gazing into the flow of time. In our subconscious perception, left is the past and the right is the future. I don't know how you see it on the screen. Sometimes it's mirror-like. But think about it. On your left, it's probably for you here. On the left is the past, and then it goes to the right, to the future. This is how we perceive time. Maybe our way of writing, we are writing from the left to the right, has to do with it. And you're standing at this T crossing, and what comes from the left and goes to the right, even if you don't see anything, this is the flow of time. And what is on the left is in the past. What is right in front of you is the now. And what is to the right, that flows into the future. That is not there yet. And now what people are doing, and this has been done for centuries, they are totally silent. They are just listening. And they get messages, inner messages, some people in form of words, like really a voice is speaking to them. Some people in the form of pictures or images. Some people in the form of feelings. And doubtlessly, some people, they imagine the whole thing. They have strong fantasy. They're just imagining the whole thing. But you can get real communications. You can get real messages in that way. For me, the most fascinating thing is it comes holistically. The messages we get are usually holistically. It's our body, our every cell, our energy bodies. They pick up things that your thinking mind does not even become aware of while you're standing at that crossroads. So you might be disappointed and say, Aditya, nothing happened. I stood there for half an hour. I was freezing. But you will feel when you go back, you are the richer. There is something, some kind of knowledge that has been downloaded into you. You know it, your being knows it, and at the right time, in the holy nights ahead of us or in the year 2025, this information will become important for you. If you do it, that is. And not everyone will do it because it takes courage. We have one participant in my German group. She did it already. And she said she was also walking on hot coals. And it took her a similar mindset like walking on hot coals to go there into the forest to this T crossing, stay there for half an hour and really just listen. Now, when you're done, don't turn around and walk back, but you are walking back at least 30 steps like this, like you are before an emperor. Would you turn your back on the emperor? No, you step back. And then only after a while you turn around. This is the respectful way. And you should, from that T crossing, take 30 steps backwards before you turn around. That's also a little bit unusual, but that's the way it has been done for a long time. Now let's go into the story of Saint Barbara. And as I said, this tradition is older than Christianity, but as usual, Christianity has put its own cultural icons or spiritual icons on top of an older tradition. Christmas is basically winter solstice, or the Yule festival, as the Nordic people called it. And here we have, with the third night, the night of hope and the night of protection, we have this wonderful figure of Saint Barbara. And she is really an amazing, inspiring woman. Actually, she died very young. She was a very young woman who lived in Nicomedia. Nicomedia, I hope you can see, is in an area that is nowadays Turkey. And she was a very beautiful and clever young woman. And her father, Dioscuros, he was still of the old way, the Greek gods, the old Greek ancient tradition. But there was Christianity coming already up, and her father, Dioscuros, because he noticed her, his daughter, she was very sensitive, she was very open, and he didn't want her to get into the wrong influences. So he shielded her, and actually he built a tower. Can you imagine that? He built a tower not only to shield her from outside influences, but also from the many young men that came from Nicomedia and asked her to marry them. But Barbara was a very special young woman. She was more prone towards God than towards man. She felt that she had a higher destiny. So she rejected her suitors. And her father, of course, wanted to protect her from these guys and locked her in a tower. And that's quite an interesting thing. I mean, lock up your own daughter in the tower. At least she had some food being brought to her by friends, and she could also ask, and she asked actually for a carpenter to make another window inside that tower. There were 2 windows, and she asked for a third window so she could also see the heavens very nicely. 2 towers to look into the land. She wanted to have a third window. 2 windows, third window to look up into the sky as she lived there in this tower. Let me see if I can find a picture. Well, it's one of her insignia. You see this tower here in her hands. In later iconography, you see the tower always with her. And there's also a branch. I speak about the branch of St. Barbara a little bit later. And you see the windows, and it has 3 windows. Actually, in the original story, the third window was on top, so she could see the heavens. Now, she arranged that that third window was built, and that was a symbol of the Trinity, the Holy Trinity, but not just of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit, but also the female Trinity, the 3 Beths. And she herself, Barbara, became one of these Beths, Borbet. Catherine, by the way, is the second of these Beths, and Lucia, who we speak about in a few days, she is the third of these Beths. And they were also called in this early Christian tradition the 14 holy helpers, or the 3 damsels, or the 3 Bethen, or the 3 Beths. Her symbols are the tower with the 3 windows, the chalice for the Christ. We speak about it in a moment, and the branch of Saint Barbara, which we also will look at. But right now, we are in the tower. She's in the tower, and she dreams very vividly. She has real dreams where she meets Jesus. Jesus is luminous. Jesus teaches her the whole gospel. He teaches her the divine principles. And she's more alive at night when she dreams about her comings together with Jesus than she is when she wakes and she is there again in the tower. And she changes. She is shining. Her eyes are shining. Her face is luminous. And her father comes to visit her, and he sees, and she speaks about, oh, Jesus Christ has appeared to me during the night. He is teaching me. And the father, who was of the old system, of the old tradition, he grew furious. He learned that his daughter was basically converting to Christianity, and he wanted to actually kill her in a rage. As she fled, it was luckily that the father was so crazy that it was luckily she could escape through the door, run down the tower, and then the earth, the soil, was suddenly opening up, and she ran into the earth, and she found herself miles away in a cave in one of the mountains nearby. Very interesting story. Basically, she got like beamed or transmitted to another place through that opening, that hole in the earth. She was suddenly, within the same time, miles away in one of the nearby mountains in a cave near the top. And that was, of course, God's way of saving her, or at least enabling her to get away from immediately being killed. But then she comes out of that cave, and a shepherd sees her and betrays her, because the father of Saint Barbara is behind her. He has alarmed the authorities that his daughter is doing unspeakable things, and she was then captured and brought before a judge who pronounced the death sentence and had her tortured. And Dioscuros himself, the father himself, beheaded his daughter, can you imagine it, with a sword, and at the same time was struck by a lightning. And you see here, you see the father wielding the sword above her head, and she is already turned towards the heavens, and immediately angels appeared, and they carried Barbara to the heavens. This is slightly before the lightning struck, but this is the picture of that scene. Now there's a lot of information in that story. Basically, it's always like this. The old system wants to remain and does not want to give way to the new. We are living in such a time. We are entering a new age. 2025 will be immense. 2026, we are through already. We are really in the final stages of that going into the new time. Really, the main portal was the years 2020 to 2025, as you will see. So she stands for protection. Barbara stands for protection and hope. I mean, imagine your own father wanting to kill you, chasing you. And she didn't renounce her faith. Originally, her father asked her, oh, immediately you have to give up that Christian rubbish, come back to the true gods, the Greek gods. We are Greeks. And she didn't budge an inch. She kept her inner faith despite the strongest temptations and despite the strongest pressure. And so she has become the patron saint of miners. Remember the earth opening for her? Tunnelers, blasters, and artillerymen, as well as firemen, firefighters. This has to do with the lightning. Architects, she was basically creating or recreating the windows in her tower. Carpenters, cooks who were bringing her the food, booksellers, because she also had a lot of knowledge, and this was one of the few things she had there in her room in the tower. She had a lot of books and many other professions. Her symbols are the tower with the three windows, the chalice, and the branch of St. Barbara. And that branch can be, if you have a garden or if you live nearby, an apple tree, a cherry tree. It can be also a forsythia or a birch tree. You can today, 3rd to 4th of December, cut off a branch of the apple or the cherry or the forsythia or the birch and put it in a vase with water. And you have good chances that it will blossom till December 24th or December 25th. It's a very old ritual, and you have good chances. And if that apple or cherry or forsythia is blossoming on the 24th or 25th, it means happiness and good health and good wealth for you in the coming year. If it blossoms a little bit later, don't worry, it's still a very good sign. More important thing here is really it works. You can go right now to your garden. If you have an apple tree, a cherry tree, forsythia, birch, or any other tree that can flower, and you can do that. And it reminds you of what? She was basically taken away from the world. She was living in the tower. She was like a prisoner. And yet she flowered in the highest possible way. Even when she was beheaded, she was luminous, and the angels came to take her up to heaven. So this is also a symbol that twig of or the branch of Saint Barbara, of how no matter how tough the circumstances are, if you stay true to yourself, if you keep your hope, you are protected. Your own hope, your own conviction is your best protection. Now, as you know, I always recommend also oils. The first oil I recommend in connection with Saint Barbara and the principle of protection and hope is Angelica. Angelica root, botanically Angelica, archangelica. That means it's not just an angel, it's an archangel. It has a very high vibration and is also known the oil of the angels. It is a root oil. It has calming and soothing aromatic properties that create a relaxing and grounding environment. Yet it heightens the spiritual awareness. It makes you really more conscious and promotes a sense of inner peace. You can use it by aromatic, breathing it 3 to 5 minutes right from the bottle. You can also apply it on your feet, on your tailbone, on your chest bone, your feet, your tailbone, and your chest bone, especially the lower part of the chest bone. It's excellent for grounding and emotional grounding and for protection, and was considered by the Druids to be the most powerful protective plant. Originally from Belgium and France, Angelica essential oil has a calming effect and provides a sense of stability. You'll be as strong as Saint Barbara. The Celts believed that this oil was so powerful that it was of a divine origin. This is why even by them it was called the oil of the angels. And then there's a second oil that I recommend you, a second oil blend. It's called Valor. There's actually two versions of Valor. This one is with camphor and geranium, but there exists also the classic Valor with rosewood. Now I'm often asked what's the difference between the two. This one has camphor and it works much faster. This is an energy balancing blend, and I spoke personally with Gary Young about it. I told him how quick this works, like what takes 15 minutes, for example, the energy exchange in the raindrop technique. With this particular one takes only 5 minutes. It's 3 times faster. I told that to Gary Young. He was smiling like a little boy. He said, yeah, this is because of the camphor. However, the other version of Valor, the classic Valor, it has kind of a banner here in the front, reddish. It's rosewood. And rosewood is not so fast like camphor, but rosewood goes much deeper. Rosewood goes into the memory of your cells and you will have excellent results. So this valor, quick action, or classic valor, deep action, your choice. This particular oil blend has, according to historical writings, been used by Roman soldiers, by centurions, even by gladiators who went into the arena. They applied plant extracts and botanicals of these particular herbs and botanicals to give themselves courage and confidence before battle. Valor supports self-belief, like St. Barbara had, courage and confidence. It helps to energize the body in the three directions of space. How do you do that? You take a drop or two, you activate it, 1, 2, 3 clockwise. You apply it to the soles of the feet, your shoulders, the top of your head, now your lower and your upward parts have been anointed, and you immediately feel now something is flowing up and down. Then you apply it on the left temple, left ear, and on the right temple, right ear. This is for the left-right coordination. And then you apply it on the forehead and on the neck and back of the head. This is for the forward-backward orientation. You will notice this is really one of the most powerful kinesthetic oils in terms of the energy flow. It's ideal not just for warriors or gladiators. It's ideal for martial artists. It's ideal for dancers. It gives you really energetic movability and flexibility that you would rarely have just by yourself. Even one more thing, and it's really quite interesting, children that are still toddlers, that are just learning to walk, if they are given valor on their feet, on the soles of their feet for weeks, while they are in the process of learning to walk, they usually learn to walk weeks up to 2 or 3 months earlier than their older brothers and sisters. So powerful and grounding is this particular oil blend. And of course, it plays an important role in the raindrop technique. If you have any questions, please write in the chat, and I will come to your questions in a moment and give you the answers you're looking for. So, the Essential Holy Nights year and the Essential Holy Nights, they take place from 21st of December, winter solstice of 2024, till 6th of January 2025. So basically, the Nights of Lot end just on the day before the Holy Nights start. Actually, the Night of St. Thomas is from the 20th to 21st of December. It's about the end and the new beginning. And then starts the winter solstice, and then the proper Holy Nights, 25th of December, corresponding to the months of January, 26th of December, corresponding to the months of February, 27th of December, corresponding to the months of the coming March, 28th corresponds to April, 29th corresponds to May, and so on, till the 5th of January. 5th of January is corresponding to the next December. So we are basically doing a vision quest. We are doing a vision journey, so to speak. We see signs and portents, but also during the Holy Nights, we have the ability to manifest in a more powerful way than in all the other days of the year. This is the special meaning of December 25th to January 5th, and it's concluded with January 6th, with the day of the 3 wise men that came from the east. The Essential Holy Nights year starts on 7th of January 2025 and goes till 20th of December 2025, bringing us to the next winter solstice. And this will be probably your and mine and everyone's most consequential year on earth yet. For this reason, I invite you to use the link that you find here, and I will post it under or above the video, because you can have a look at how you can participate in the essential holy nights. And we use a lot of oils. So if you're an oil lover, it's perfect. We use 47 single or oil blends. And if you don't work with oils, no problem. We have participants, they do the whole holy nights and also the nights of Lot dry without oils. Both is possible. Both groups of people get excellent results. So now we are just 2 days away from the night of St. Nicholas. And St. Nicholas, who became Santa Claus, it's another interesting story because he is the guy who has the book of fate, and he reads the fate of every living being. And he has a dark side that is called like the Krampus or Knecht Ruprecht in Middle Europe. Is like the wrathful aspect of him. Like in Tibet, you have like saints, like yogis, and you have also wrathful deities. And so this is the interesting thing here in Christianity. We have a blend of the Alpine and Celtic and Germanic traditions that portray the other side of St. Nicholas, the wise man, as a wild, wrathful being. And this is a very, very deep subject we come to next time. What's the relationship between fate and between freedom? And what is written in the book of fate, and how much leeway do you have? Is it all preordained, or do you actually create your own fate? And this is what the whole fourth night of Lot, the night of St. Nicholas, is all about. So I look forward to seeing you in 2 days. But now go to the forest, go to the tea crossing, and stay there for half an hour and just listen. Or if you have a garden, go to the apple tree, go to the cherry tree, go to the birch tree and pick a branch and put it in the vase so that it might blossom around Christmas. And think of that brave woman, Saint Barbara. There was also an old system, a system change like a system change we are seeing now. The old forces, they always try to remain, but her inner conviction was stronger. Her inner belief was stronger, and she was elevated to the heavens.